A few weeks ago, an amended federal lawsuit gained some attention, thanks in part to an article in the Wall Street Journal, and discussed in other places as well. I have only recently, however, found the time to read the entire 69-page filing, and have literally been shocked with what I found inside. The allegation is against Yale University and contains many causes of action, including allegations of gender bias and failure to provide due process. I'm splitting this video into two parts. The first part is going to provide some context about Yale University and the events surrounding Halloween of 2015. This may be old territory to some, but hopefully I've included some information not viewed before, or some overall picture that clarifies issues in the minds of people. In any event, I think it's important to go over the story briefly in order to illustrate some of the issues prior to moving on to the current lawsuit. The events outlined in the lawsuit took place just prior to 2015, and I think they're vital to understanding one aspect of the growing problem within segments of both academia and society as a whole. Yale University in the fall of 2015 became widely criticized for events surrounding Halloween costumes. Information is readily available on this, but I'll provide a short overview for reference purposes here, as I think it's relevant to understanding the culture that exists on campus, at the levels of student and staff. This isn't to infer that all students and all staff feel and act in exactly the same way, but I use this as an example of the mindset of some, and hope to show how difficult it is to contend with. Just before Halloween, some members of the Intercultural Affairs Committee sent out a mass email to all students warning about costumes that may include cultural appropriation, and asked students to avoid poor decisions, including costumes that may include feathered headdresses, turbans, wearing war paint or modifying skin tone, or wearing blackface or redface, and noted increasing representations of Asians and Latinos. It called on students to avoid those circumstances that threaten our sense of community or disrespects, alienates, or ridicules segments of our population based on race, nationality, religious belief, or gender expression. Disrespects, alienates, or ridicules segments of the population based on gender expression? Think about that one for a second. Essentially, gender expression is fashion. It also warned against costumes that may impact religious beliefs, Native American, Indigenous people, socioeconomic strata, Asians, Hispanic, Latino, women, Muslims, etc. Erica Christakis, a lecturer at Yale and associate head of Silman College, sent a reply expressing her concern. She stated that she didn't want to trivialize genuine concerns, but wondered about the consequences of an institutional exercise of implied control over college students. She said that free speech and the ability to tolerate offense are the hallmarks of a free and open society, and that she thought there might be something missing in the discourse about the exercise of free speech, including how students dress themselves on campus. Clearly, she was supporting the students and demonstrating confidence in their own judgment. This was not the first time for her to support freedom of speech while arguing against treating university students like babies. In 2012 at Harvard University, a flyer was circulated that was a mock invitation to join a non-existent finals club called the Pigeon. Finals clubs are Harvard's unrecognized fraternity substitutes, and they're often criticized for being sexist, elitist, anti-Semitic, exclusive, etc. The flyer parodied this and attempted to point out this issue to students and school administrators. Harvard administrators and many students, however, focused solely on the language in the flyer and missed the point entirely. Both Erica Christakis and her husband, Nicholas, wrote a column for Time that supported free speech and called for an understanding that protecting free speech is more than just protecting free speech that you find appropriate. The column continued. Some students know better. Several commentators on the Harvard Crimson website noticed the deep irony of watching an administration that has been silent about the abuses of the all-male clubs, which have included life-threatening drinking games, hazing, and sexual assault, suddenly so concerned about ugly words. To some, it seemed almost Kafkaesque to think that the satirists, who might actually be Jews, blacks, or women, though that shouldn't matter, were to be investigated when the social ills that motivated the crude satire were being ignored. It seemed like people were contemplating the senseless action of shooting the messenger, all in the name of keeping students safe. Our hypervigilance about campus speech does the opposite of ensuring safety. It infantilizes students and tells them that anytime they hear something that makes them uncomfortable, no matter how distasteful it may be, they have reason not only to be offended, but also to restrict restrict the speech of others so that they can avoid their unpleasant feelings. For one thing, it denies students the opportunity to learn and think for themselves, an essential life skill without which most humans would be adrift. In the recent Harvard case, it also literally blinds authorities to more pressing problems for our students, such as the sexist and dangerous behaviors that still go unchecked behind closed doors. Unfortunately, many well-intentioned policies to foster civility are counterproductive, leaving aside the fact that some unpopular ideas may in fact be good ones. The real problem is that colleges are increasingly mistrustful that students have the analytic skills and moral character to decide for themselves. Paradoxically, this mistrust is the opposite of educational because it strips students of their own agency in vetting ideas in the public sphere. Even worse, we get bogged down in concerns about safeguarding people's feelings. We can lose sight of much more important values that protect all of us. First among them, the right to think and speak freely. If our brightest and most capable young adults can't be trusted to think for themselves, who can? And if our greatest American universities won't protect words, who will? Now, given their history of supporting the minority position while speaking out in support of free speech and pointing out the concern of infantilizing university students, you'd think that there would be an understanding shown by the students, or, at the least, the opening of respectful dialogue. Nope. On October 31st, 2015, in an open letter, Yale student Ryan Wilson states Erica Christakis is defending the right to wear racist costumes, supporting harmful stereotypes, and trivializing the harm done. More than 740 signatures were received from students in support of this letter. On November 3rd, the president of Yale announced a plan to devote $50 million over a 5-year period to increase diversity among faculty members not only across Yale as a whole, but within each and every department. Now, it's important to remember that the open letter and much of the outrage was due to Erica Christakis' email. On campus, however, you only have to look at the Facebook page for the Halloween party that year to see some of the costumes worn. There's a student wearing a Chinese costume, a student wearing a costume of what appears to be a Japanese tourist. Even Ryan Wilson, the author of the open letter, dressed as Aladdin. Is this not cultural appropriation? Erica Christakis was speaking directly to this and not wanting institutional policy to override the students' ability to think for themselves. The commitment of $50 million did not satisfy the students, and 2 days later, some began writing messages on the sidewalk outside of Silliman College. Erica's husband, Nicholas, who was the head of Silliman College, went out to speak with them, and soon a crowd gathered. The videos from this confrontation went viral.
I was going to tell you about the events we were planning, but she had her hand raised. And
yeah. Sorry, what's my name first?
See, now this is the thing. So I have 500 students.
No. But here's the thing: was that wait a second. Not everyone yell. I was in your class my freshman year and attended all of your office hours. You were my sophomore year advisor. I am currently the Silliman Activities Council co-president. I live here. I eat in the dining hall for all 3 meals, and you should know my name.
I have 500 names to learn, and if you'd like to see this as a personal offense, my difficulty in learning names, you can.
I do see as a... Okay, but I have a point, because...
But Michaela, you have to understand, it has nothing to do with your race, my difficulty in learning your name.
Well, that's how it seemed, because that
I know, but can you see, for example, can you play music?
Yes.
Okay, I cannot play music. So when people try to talk to me about musical things, I don't understand.
How is this relevant?
I am making an idea. I'm expressing that one of my limitations as a person, which I always had, was I wasn't very good with memorizing names, and it's got nothing to do with race, Michaela. I think this conversation in its intensity will really seal it. And I hope in my prior interactions with you, I've never treated with you with any disrespect.
And you haven't. I was just about to say, in this class, because it's not a home, it is no longer a safe space for me. And I find that incredibly depressing.
First of all, what's your name?
Lisa. And I've had dinner with you.
Good.
I've seen you around,
okay.
And I'm glad we can meet again.
Okay. So right. Lisa, Michaela. All right. So I think what I heard you said is that whether we meant it or not, and regardless of what we said, it hurt, I don't want this to come across as the wrong way, but it hurt your feelings and many people's feelings.
Okay,
but feelings, you can argue the word. I don't want to offend you by suggesting the wrong word. I know it's more than your feelings, okay? I understand. So what we said, whether we intended it or not, and regardless of its content, hurt your feelings. And you would like me to apologize for hurting your feelings. Is Is that right?
It's content.
Yes, I still think that the phrase hurt feelings
Okay, tell me the phrase you want me to use, I'll use it.
I don't know. You can say hurt feelings, but I want you to recognize that it goes deeper than feelings.
I do.
It is an affront to a group of people.
I recognize that.
Okay, great. So then that's what I want you to say.
So
if you understand it, then you can put it in your own words. And then I'll
okay, so you want me to say, I apologize that I hurt your feelings. I'm looking at her and I'm listening very carefully. And it goes, and deeper than that. I know it's deeper than that.
So then apologize!
I want to make sure.
I understand, like, what is the issue?
Can I say, I'm sorry, you said that you have conflicting.
Let us tell you if you're being racist.
Okay, no. Hold
Actually,
on, one
that
second.
is actually how it works.
One second. Let me say something else. So I have a vision of us as people, as human beings.
Yes.
That actually privileges our common humanity. That is interested not in what is different among us, but what is the same. Okay? And so we all have the capacity, I believe.
Okay,
let me finish one sentence. I believe even though I have a different life experience than you, even though I have a different skin color and gender than you, I believe there are parts of your experience that I can understand as a human being. Like I was just saying, I have a vision of ourselves that unites our common humanity. Okay? So I believe even though I'm not like you in the sense of my superficial appearance, that I can sit down and talk to you and understand your predicament. That I can listen to you. If that's not true, if you deny that, then what is the reason that you ask to be heard by me or anyone else?
Because we're dying!
Professor, you sound right now. Look at me.
Yes.
Look at me.
Yes.
Do you understand? You and I are not the same person. We're humans. Great. Glad we understand that. But your experiences will never connect to mine. Empathy is not necessary for you to understand that you're wrong. Okay? Even if you don't feel what I feel ever, even if nobody's ever been racist to you, because they can't be racist to you, that doesn't mean that you can just act like you're not being racist.
Some students need to hear from you that you're sorry. That
I am sorry that I hurt your feelings. And again, using the word hurt your feelings without trivializing it, okay? So unless someone gives me a different word so that...
Why do you care so much?
I'm apologizing again. She says to me...
I don't want to use the word pain.
No, pain. I'm sorry I caused you pain. Yes, I'm willing to say that too. Yes, thank you.
What you did was create space for violence to happen.
That I disagree with. That I disagree. I disagree.
It's not a debate. It's
That I
not
disagree with.
a
I'm sorry.
debate, Christakis.
just say I'm sorry, and like because her feelings were
Okay,
hurt.
I understand that, but you have to understand that my calling Geraldine Jency is a mistake I make with all people, regardless of their race. Yes, and I apologize. I'm sorry I said to her.
You should know me by
I said,
now. You don't even know who I am.
Jency, I agree.
This is my home, and you came in here. You adapt to me. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You take care of me, and you haven't been doing that.
You expect us to stand here and listen to your experience of becoming a master, and you can't even listen to anyone telling you that you have caused them pain. You expect us to listen?
How am I not listening to you?
Are you just interrupting? Lisa left because she was bawling because you couldn't say sorry, and Mommy is standing here in front of you. Do you even know who she is?
I've apologized for causing pain. I was looking for the right words.
You have created space for violence.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
You don't get a choice here.
I disagree that I've fostered violence. I disagree with that statement.
I am sick looking at you. I am disgusted watching Alex argue with you. You were not listening. You were disgusting. And now I want your job to be taken from you. I don't want you to have this job. I am disgusted knowing that you work at Yale University where I will get my degree. You want free dialogue? You want free speech? This is how it works. Someone speaks, you listen. You wait until it is your turn. It has never been your fucking turn for a long time. You've had your turn. You had your opportunity to apologize to these people. You had it, and I'm sick that they're still waiting for it because you're not going to give it to them.
By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that? Then
No, I don't agree with that.
Then why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who
I have
the
a
fuck hired you?
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down. If that is what you think about being a master, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here. You should not sleep at night. We're out. We out. You are disgusting.
The apologies and conversation from Nicholas Christakis did not placate the group of students. 4 days after the confrontation, protests were going on. These protests culminated with a midnight march to the president of Yale's home, where a list of demands were presented. The president was given 5 days to respond. The demands included an ethnic studies distributional requirement for all Yale undergraduates, the promotion of the ethnicity, race, and migration program to departmental status, the promotion of Native American studies, Latino studies, Asian American studies, and African studies to program status under this new department, the hiring of mental health care professionals for each of the 4 cultural centers, $8 million in additional funding for the 4 cultural centers, the termination of both Nicholas and Erica Christakis, the development of racial competence and respect training and accountability systems for all Yale affiliates, the inclusion of a question about the racial climate for teacher evaluations, a bias reporting system on racial discrimination, the allocation of resources to support the physical well-being of international first-generation low-income and undocumented students, including food, healthcare, and consultants. On October 18th, the president responded. Yale's plans include the creation of an academic center focused on race, ethnicity, and social identity, in addition to new faculty appointments in those fields. He also pledged to double resources for existing centers serving students of color and said he and other top administrators will undergo training on recognizing and combating racism and other forms of discrimination in the academy. In addition to the formation of an academic center on race and ethnicity, he also said the school will create 4 new positions for scholars working on the histories, lives, and cultures of underrepresented or unrepresented communities. He already had announced the $50 million 5-year funding. Months later, Nicholas and Erica resigned their positions. This incident has made it into part of a Simpsons episode.
Well, I am here to offer you money. I'd like to endow a Department of Nuclear Plant Management.
Wonderful. Of course, we can't do nuclear.
Our students are highly entitled wusses.
You'd be creating a space for violence to happen. How about funding a chair in the non-narrative cinema of self-identified pansexuals?
What?
We also need to hire more deans to decide which Halloween costumes are appropriate.
8 deans should do it.
Is this still a coven of capitalism where evil money can acquire a patina of virtue?
Yes, that's in our charter.
But with an issue as heteropatriarchal as nuclear power, we'll have to hire multicultural empathizers, build a new safe space.
Not so fast. We insist on a chair of anti-nuclear studies and a nuclear-neutral curriculum pathway.
Absolutely, Teddy. We run all decisions past the squash team.
Also the fencing team, water polo, and Handsome Dan the mascot.
Release me, you hound.
Oh, yeah.
What's happened to this place?
And is one of the primary examples of how the principles of free speech and freedom of expression are being marginalized and not tolerated in the name of trying to prevent marginalization and promote tolerance. Thanks for watching. I'll have part 2 posted in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a comment and hit that like button. If you didn't like it, please explain why. Open discussion is the only way to have a better understanding of differing views. Sharing this video on social media can help keep conversations alive. Now, here are a few other videos that you may be interested in.